started. Hello everybody, today we have Janarthanan with us and he's going to talk about GitHub Copilot and around TypeScript and non.NET, and I hope you guys get to learn a lot from it. Handing over the stage to Janarthan.
Yeah, thank you so much. Let me share my screen. So the topic for today's agenda will be the GitHub Copilot for TypeScript or non.NET. So as part of this season of AI 2, so I'm myself Janarthanan S. So I'm a Microsoft MVP under the AI platform, and I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, and I'm a Microsoft Learn expert. So currently, I'm holding 13 plus Microsoft certifications with respect to the Azure platform. I'm an author, I'm a speaker, as well as a blogger. If you want to reach out to me, any queries or else any clarification or any doubts related to AI or else GenAI or Microsoft Azure platform, please do reach out to my LinkedIn handle. I'm happy to help you on that forum. As well as this is my social handle of YouTube. So where I'll be discussing about the internship opportunities, scholarship opportunities, free certification opportunities that I'll be posted on my YouTube channel. So you can scan these two social handles for your future reference. So let's get started. So what is the major agenda for today's discussion is about the Microsoft Copilot ecosystem, the GitHub Copilot introduction, and why we have to use the GitHub Copilot, as well as the GitHub Copilot architecture and the GitHub Copilot installation, and how to use the GitHub Copilot / commands. So if you use GitHub Copilot, how the entire workflow has been improvised. And finally, we'll talk about the best practices of GitHub Copilot related to the non-.NET framework. The very first one is the pair programming. The pair programming is one of the concept, or it is a technique which is used in the agile practices or scrum practices, where two people started sharing a common workstation or a common laptop or a desktop. One will be playing the role of a navigator, the another one will play the role of the driver. These two roles, over a period of time, what will happen is it will interchange. Then you will be playing the role of a navigator, then I will be playing the role of a driver. Driver is the one who is going to write the code in terms of the pair programming approach, and the navigator is the one who is going to review the code. Over a period of time, these two roles will be started interchanging among themselves. This is used to get the developer productivity. Whereas if I want to boost the developer productivity, you can make use of the pair programming technique. As well as this pair programming technique emphasizes on the collective code ownership. So because of this pair programming, the GitHub Copilot emphasis on the AI pair programmer tool or AI pair programming technique has been used in the GitHub Copilot. Almost 1 million plus developer communities started using GitHub Copilot in their day-to-day work-related activities. 75% of the crowd says They are, after they use GitHub Copilot, they have seen a drastic experience in terms of coding. So those who used GitHub Copilot, they'll get to know the suggestions provided by the GitHub Copilot, which is pretty much more familiar in terms of the coding related activity. So, and when it comes to the Microsoft Copilot ecosystem, we have various types of Copilots available. We have a Microsoft Bing Copilot, Edge Copilot, your M365 Copilot, which is there in your Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Teams, as well as your Microsoft Forms, Microsoft Loop. Also, your M365 product is available. And if you want to perform any day-to-day activities related to your Windows related environment, you can make use of the Windows Copilot. And any data related activity or any analytics related stuff, you can go for the Fabric Copilot. If you want to make use of the security mitigation or else any type of threat you want to handle, use Security Copilot. For all the developer related tools, or else if I want to boost the developer productivity, you can make use of the GitHub Copilot. So GitHub Copilot will be available everywhere. Everywhere the Copilot existence is present. It could be your M365, or it could be a Power Platform or Dynamic 365, or even Power Apps, your Power BI, Fabrics, Windows, your Edge Copilot. Everywhere you can see the Copilot presence. Similarly, your developer tool assistance or else your developer productivity tools also you can see the GitHub Copilot presence. Let's see what is GitHub Copilot. When it comes to the GitHub Copilot, it is the artificial intelligence tool. This particular GitHub Copilot emphasizes on the AI pair programming approach. And who developed this GitHub Copilot? The GitHub Copilot was developed by GitHub Corporation. And this particular tool, which is powered by the OpenAI Codex platform. When you say the OpenAI Codex platform, the entire prompt will be converted into code with the help of code generation model, which is Codex. So what will be happening when you use GitHub Copilot in your Visual Studio or any one of the IDs? The moment you started prompting it, this will be converted into code, which is nothing but user has to provide the context. Once the user has been provided the context, the entire context is being converted into code known as context aware suggestions. The context aware suggestions will be available as part of your GitHub Copilot, and this will be available in most of the ID extensions of GitHub Copilot. It could be Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code or Vim Editor or JetBrain Editor. As of now, these four editors started supporting GitHub Copilot. So why we are using GitHub Copilot? When I notice that GitHub Copilot, if I want to boost any developer productivity, make use of this GitHub Copilot. And also this GitHub Copilot is going to accelerate the entire innovation development, whether it could be a development environment or pre-production environment, or even it could be a production environment. Any type of environment, if I want to make use of the acceleration or faster time to market, use GitHub Copilot. And you may be a .NET developer. Unfortunately, the team don't know anything about .NET. The team is fully with respect to Python. If I want to convert one particular platform code into another particular platform, this GitHub Copilot will be supporting, which is nothing but if you want to bridge any skill gap from one technology to another technology, GitHub Copilot will be majorly used to avoid those skill bridge gaps. So what you can do as a first step, you take all your prompt which are there in one particular language. You can try to convert that particular language or a technology into the destination technology or the destination language. where you can make use of the GitHub Copilot. This is used to avoid all your skill gaps between the technologies. And with the help of this GitHub Copilot, if I want to enhance the code quality, or else if you want to reuse your code in your own language or in your own technology, make use of GitHub Copilot. And people, those are not using GitHub Copilot, their coding time is more compared to people those are using GitHub Copilot. Most of the development related activities, the manual related activities has been automated with the help of GitHub Copilot, which is improvising your coding speed and the performance. So as of now, we have seen what is GitHub Copilot, why we are using GitHub Copilot. Let's see the architecture in detail. When it comes to the GitHub Copilot, you can notice there are three important components available. One is the codex model. The second one is the GitHub Copilot as a service. And the third one is your private code repository. If you notice here, the GitHub Copilot as a service, user will be providing the high level context. You have to type your high level context in the GitHub Copilot window. After you provided the high level context, that particular context will be converted into code based suggestions, which is known as context aware suggestion, which is the tool will started providing these suggestions. Either you will be accepting your suggestions or you will be rejecting these suggestions. Let's see what are the suggestions. If I want to accept it, which key you have to press. If I want to reject your GitHub Copilot suggestions, which key you have to press. We will see in the upcoming slides. The entire code is generated from the OpenAI Codex model, which is nothing but the code generation model. Using your code generation model, the entire code will start getting generated to a GitHub Copilot in your Visual Studio Code or in your Visual Studio, any one of the IDE extension which GitHub Copilot supports. When it comes to the editor support, as of now, we have 4 editors available. One is Visual Studio, Vim Editor, Visual Studio Code Editor, JetBrain Editor. These are the editors majorly supported for GitHub Copilot. Language support, almost 15 plus programming languages the GitHub Copilot started supporting. It could be a Python, JavaScript, TypeScript, Ruby, or Go programming, or Java programming, or C Sharp, .NET. All your programming languages mostly supported by GitHub Copilot. Related to the framework support, Angular is supported, React.js is supported, your Vue.js is supported by the GitHub Copilot. Let's see how to install the GitHub Copilot. In order to install the GitHub Copilot, you may be able to use any one of the IDs. So let me use the ID as Visual Studio Code ID. After this, you have to search for two of the uh, extensions. One is GitHub Copilot, the another one is GitHub Copilot Chat. These two extension, you have to search for the extensions tab. Once you searched it, download this and then install. After you downloaded and installed, you have to restart your Visual Studio Code. Once you restart the Visual Studio Code, you may be able to identify the GitHub Copilot option will be available at the bottom of your Visual Studio screen. If you started clicking it, the status has to say ready. What will happen if you started using the GitHub Copilot? Ensure that you are supposed to use your open internet connectivity. If you have a closed internet connectivity, it will not work. It requires open internet connectivity when it comes of GitHub Copilot. So what are the shortcut keys for GitHub Copilot? Remember the shortcut keys. Tab key is used to accepting your suggestions, and your escape key is used to reject all your suggestions. And if I want to get additional suggestions in a particular window or in a separate pane, you have to use Control plus Enter. So these are the GitHub Copilot options where you will get the shortcut keys. So this is an extension of your Visual Studio Code. What I'll be doing is you have to go to the GitHub Copilot. First, you have to purchase the license. When it comes to license, it could be an individual license, or it could be an enterprise license, or it could be your corporate license. So three licenses are available. So I have purchased the individual license. After you purchase the individual licenses of GitHub Copilot, go to your account section. In the account section, you have to log in along with your GitHub Copilot where you have been purchased your licenses. Once it is done, go to the extension pan. In the extension pan, you have to search for two of the extensions. What are two of the extensions are we going to search is? One is the GitHub Copilot. The another one is nothing but the GitHub Copilot chat. These are the two mandate extensions you are supposed to download and install this. So since I'm going to use GitHub Copilot for a non.NET and let me deploy one Python application, then you are supposed to use a Python related extensions. You have to download this, and along with this Python, download your Python related software. On the top of this, the mandate extensions are GitHub Copilot. The another one of the extension is known as GitHub Copilot Chat. So those two important extensions you have to download on the top of the Python extensions. So what I'll do now, let me create a one empty file which is saved as .py. Let me use print hello world message. There's a plain English or it has a natural language. The moment if I hit enter, the GitHub Copilot started providing these suggestions. Even your natural language English, the moment you started writing in a normal English language, the entire code has been generated. Always remember, the generated code by this GitHub Copilot can also do mistakes. It is still require the developers to review the generated code is correct or wrong. So for example, you are not a Python developer, you are a Java developer. So what you can do, you can convert all your Java related prompt into the Python related prompt. Within your company, you can hire some of the experts who knows Python. Ask them to review the code, whatever generated by the GitHub Copilot. So this is a code generated by the GitHub Copilot. If I want to accept this particular suggestions, I have to press which key, in the sense tab key, I have to press this. After I press the tab key, you can execute this particular code. Whether the code is executing successfully or not, let me check it out. The code now it is executed successfully because we have used a very simple prompt. Let me use print hi Azure developer community in a loop for 10 times. I don't know how to write in a loop. I know, but the natural language, which is English, I know this already. Just the code is automatically it is suggested. Just press the tab key, enter tab key. Now this code is ready. You execute the code. Now you can see that the Azure developer community has been printed 10 times. So this is the way you started prompting in your GitHub Copilot. Whether you know coding or not, but you know how to prompt it in a proper phrases, that is more important. So let me go for the advanced prompt. Let's say create a Python class named as employee with, and just type with only. This automatically suggested me some of the suggestions. I don't want to accept the suggestions. If you don't want to accept the suggestions, you have to press escape key. Escape key, and then fields like name, age, and salary. Print all the values using show employee method. Just a plain English only, nothing written as a code, just a plain English. So now we have to give enter. The automatically the code has been generated. If you want to accept this code, you have to press tab key. Tab key, I have pressed it. Then you have to create an object, call the method. Okay. If you want to call one more object, you can call the function. That's it. Execute the code. Python sample3.py. So the respective values started executing it on the screen. You can notice this. So there's a way you can start typing the advanced prompt also. If I want to get more number of suggestions, what I can do, I want to print today's date and time. So it is asking us to import the datetime package. Give enter. And datetime is a package. Datetime.now is a method. This is going to print the current date and time. In this format, it is going to print. Let's see this result. Execute the code. So it is printed the current date and time. So it is 17th October and the current time it is 6:21:48 seconds. So this has been printed it. Similarly, you can execute any type of code, not only this particular, any type of code. If you want to execute in Python, you have to execute it. Very important package, these two extensions are required. Without this two extension, we may not execute any particular code. Okay. Let's go back to the presentation again. So as of now, we have discussed the three type of shortcut keys. One is the tab key, escape key, control enter. Let's see, there is one of the component known as the GitHub Copilot chat. GitHub Copilot chat is a companion extension where it is going to provide the conversational AI assistance throughout your software development journey in the Visual Studio Code platform. If I want to provide any conversation based assistance in your GitHub Copilot, use GitHub Copilot chat. And this GitHub Copilot chat is providing a various set of options like syntax related things. If I want to correct it, use GitHub Copilot chat. If I want to use any programming concept, use GitHub Copilot chat. If I want to create any unit test cases, use GitHub Copilot chat. Debugging performance, use GitHub Copilot chat. These are the features you can start utilizing for your GitHub Copilot chat option. So already you can see the GitHub Copilot chat option here. This is the option. You just type slash. You can see the options. Explain is nothing but this is going to explain the line by line execution. And slash fix is nothing but this is going to fix the syntax error. And slash test is used to create unit test cases for your code. Help is used to provide a help options. Clear is used to clear the entire suggestions. Similarly, new notebook. New is used to create the project structure or the directory structure of your own project. That is new. New notebook, which is going to create a new Jupyter notebook along with some sequence of steps. So let's see these options inside your GitHub Copilot chat options. So what are the GitHub Copilot chat facility it is going to provide? So slash commands is a special command that is going to be receive targeted assistance. When you say targeted assistance, the assistance includes explanation, documentation, test case creation, or any forms of support you want to do in under your chat. You can make use of the slash commands. The list of slash commands we have slash help. This is going to get the help in the GitHub Copilot chat. Clear is going to start a new chat session. Doc is nothing but this is going to generate the documentation comments and explain. If you want to explain a selected code, you want to explain that, you're going to make use of explain command. Test is for the unit test cases. New is used to create a workspace directory structure. New notebook is going to create a new Jupyter notebook, and fix is nothing but any of the code you want to fix it, you can make use of the slash command fix. Let's see that details. So what I will do now, I will be doing is, let's say, create a calculator test, calculator class. So it is creating a calculator class along with the functions add, subtract, multiply, divide. Okay, afterwards, create a calculator object. Create a calculator object. Create this. Then call the add method. So one by one method I was calling it. I'm not typing anything, I just press tab key. So automatically it has started providing me the suggestions. If you want to execute this code, you can execute this. The code has been executed successfully. So let us do, you select this piece of code, use Alt I, in the Alt I, select this code, Alt I, slash doc. This is known as GitHub Copilot slash commands. This is going to provide the documentation related commands of this one. If I want to get the documentation related commands, use slash doc. Similarly, if I want to get the line by line explanation about this particular command, then use slash explain. Slash explain is going to provide the line by line explanation about the entire code. Okay. So this is given the line by line explanation. What is the class? What are the methods that it has? So the entire things it is showing in the chat. If you want to view in the chat menu, you can show the chat menu. So the calculator has 4 methods, a list of method it is displaying. In case I have purposely I was committing some of the mistakes, let's say. So I want to fix this one. There is one colon missing, there is one misspaced variable. Control I slash fix. So this will automatically says in which line you have the error. So to fix this code, you need to correct the syntax divide method definition, and there is an improper syntax. So automatically this is going to fix this. Just accept this. This will automatically fix wherever the error was. So now the error was fixed. You can execute the same code again. So slash fix is used to fix your syntax errors. Similarly, select this piece of code. And if you want to say slash help. So this is going to provide the help related commands. What are the list of commands, the line by line help, all the commands. If I want to get this, you can go for slash help. Similarly, slash clear is used to clear the entire terminal. So the entire terminal got clear. And slash unit test cases, right? If you want to create any test cases, slash test. For the entire workspace, it is going to create a unit test cases. So it has started creating a unit test cases. Now it is creating a test cases. For test cases creation, there is one of the package it is installing in the background. What is the package it is installing is mspython.python. So this particular library is required in order to execute the unit test cases in Python. So if I want to create any unit test cases in Python, this particular library is required. What is the name of the library is mspython.python. So that particular library started generating and it is installing as well. So similarly, select this piece of code, use Control I slash test. This will create a unit test case classes. If I want to create any unit test cases classes, this will automatically create it. Okay. So it is generating the unit test cases classes in the right side. Class test calculator, setup function, test add, test subtract, test multiplication, test division. So the entire classes along with the unit test cases, if you want to generate it, you can make use of this. So the unit test cases has been generated successfully for this. Likewise, if I want to create any new project structure, use new slash new, create a insurance project with Python as the language. This will create automatically. If I want to create a insurance project along with the Python as a class, this will see this. You want to create the folder structure along Python as the language. This is started creating in the workspace. So you can see insurance project, your double underscore init double underscore dot py, which is a constructor class, your main class, your model class, controller class, route class, utility class, your requirement.txt file. The entire workspace, if I want to create it, make use of slash new. Slash new is used to create the entire workspaces. Similarly, if I want to use new workspace, I want to use new notebook, create a new Jupyter notebook for data visualization package. Use cricket data as the source file. So this is going to create the entire file from the new notebook. So what are the libraries you want to import it? You have to load the cricket data, data pre-processing, basic data visualization, advanced data visualization. Let us click the button, create new notebook. So when you click the create a new notebook, this will automatically open a new notebook. Okay. So these are the options which are part of which one is your GitHub Copilot slash commands. So how to improve with the help of GitHub Copilot, how to improve the code workflow. Okay. So there are 6 important activities you have to perform when it comes to the GitHub Copilot. One is the code completion. So code completion, your GitHub Copilot has been used. User has to provide the prompt or the automatically code, it will be providing the suggestions. You have to review the complete suggestions, then only you have to accept it. It could be of any type of environment. It could be a development environment, or it could be a production environment, or it could be a pre-production environment in terms of code completion. Error correction, suppose while users started customizing the entire code, you might be finding some of the errors. In those errors, if you want to rectify it, you want to review those errors, you want to fix those errors, you need the component known as code refactoring. So with the help of the code refactoring, the entire code has been fixed, the entire code has been reviewed, it has been corrected, which is nothing but the code refactoring. So these are 3 important steps which is used to improve the entire coding workflow with respect to the GitHub Copilot. And another 3 important activities with respect to GitHub Copilot is the navigation. If I want to navigate from one window to another window, using GitHub Copilot, it is easy to navigate from one technology to another technology. And even it is possible to integrate multiple technologies, multiple web-based framework. It supports multiple programming languages, multiple IDs it supports in terms of integration. And it is easy to collaborate your GitHub Copilot, starting from developers, testers, coders, even maintenance engineer, network engineer. Every part of the roles, you may use this GitHub Copilot as a collaboration tool. So when it comes to the best practices, there are 5 high-level best practices. You can use it in the GitHub Copilot. One is always user has to provide the high-level context. When I say high-level context, the high-level context, it has been sorted in a manner saying that you have to provide with a proper instruction. You have to give them a correct examples. If you don't have any clear cut prompt, provide with some examples, provide some input, provide some role whom you are targeting. So these are the highly essential stuff when it comes to your best practices of GitHub Copilot. Second one is you have to provide a specific detailing. And I say detailing, start with one example, give some examples, provide some input parameter, provide some specification so that user will able to craft the prompt in an effective manner based upon the tool is going to provide the correct suggestions, or else what will happen, the tool will provide the suggestions, the suggestions may not be apt. And the third important aspect of your best practices of GitHub Copilot is use the code suggestions and error corrections with the help of GitHub Copilot. If I want to suggest for the entire coding details or any error corrections, you can make use of GitHub Copilot. Always ensures that you have to keep your repositories updated. Don't use the old data, use the relevant data, the most updated data in your knowledge base, so that the GitHub Copilot is also providing the uh, better responses or exact responses what you're looking for it. Okay. And always you have to collaborate with your team. Okay, so you should not have any mismatch or any miscommunication with the team. Any changes you are done in the GitHub Copilot, please inform your team so the team will have an awareness what have been updated, what are the new changes. The entire change request is required when it comes to the GitHub Copilot. So when it comes to the pricing aspect, we have three important licenses. One is GitHub Copilot Enterprise Edition, your individual edition, business edition. Individual edition is $10 per month. Enterprise edition is $39 per month, and business edition is $19 per month. So GitHub Copilot is not free. GitHub Copilot is a paid one. For students, it is completely free. You have to use GitHub Copilot Students Developer Pack. Provide your ID card details so that the GitHub Copilot, it is easy to download for the entire number of years which are there in your college. Every year you have to upload your ID card to avail the GitHub Copilot as a free option as part of the students developer pack as concerned. That's it. Thank you so much. Over to you. Any questions?
Hi, I think people love the session. I think they're going to watch it very soon. And if they drop any doubts in the comment section, you can check that out definitely. You can
Okay.
share your social media handles. I think you have already done it. And thank you so much for taking up the session. It was lovely. Had great having you. Thank you, Janarthan. I think we'll end the stream now.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Daria.